Welcome to AIBiz, where curiosity meets actionable strategy. I'm your host Sayan, and today's episode explores a journey that spans continents, disciplines, and ideas, from personal beginnings to cutting edge technology. Today, our guest is Sebastien Fenelon, founder of InthraOS and eclos.io. He's a full stack engineer and architect of privacy first AI systems at the edge. Some might see AI as an unstoppable wave of intelligence. Others worry that innovation outpaces ethics. And Sebastian, however, stands at the intersection, building scalable platforms that are bold, responsible, and human centered. We'll unpack how his roots in Haiti shaped his entrepreneurial vision, and how edge computing transformed privacy, and how startups can turn daring ideas into real world solutions. So, welcome to the show, Sebastian. It is an absolute honor to have you here with us.
Thank you so much, Sayan. That was a great introduction. I'm really humbled by it, and really, I'm so happy to share some of the things that is part of my mission and that I value the most.
Awesome, wonderful. I'm excited to dive in, Sebastian. But before we, go to the fancy stuff like edge computing and all that, let's start with your personal story. So, Sebastian, your journey spans right from Haiti to leading AI startups. And how did your early experience shape your, this entrepreneurial vision?
Definitely, and that's an amazing way to start to understand the way I think and the way I see things and the way I work. Really, being born and growing up in Haiti, I in a place where technology is like
Right.
nothing, right? There is essentially no, there's not even an adjective to use in order to compare it, right? It's it's truly invisible, and not just because there's no talent, not just because there's no one being able to think properly and building these infrastructures. It's because they're dealing with a lot bigger issues such as connectivity, such as electricity,
Right.
because these are
r-
basic issues that faces in society like Haiti, and there's many more similar to that they are facing as a more needed entities, right? However,
Hmm.
I was able to put myself in a position to learn early. I was able to put myself in a place where I understood that we could be and do things by understanding things, by gaining skills, and by using those skills as well too, right? So that started from
Hmm.
learning from you watching YouTube videos, staying up
Hmm.
at night, getting those skills, learning coding since I was 13, 14 years old, and finding these interests out of really nowhere because I really didn't have some kind of um, some kind of model to look up to, right? And I'm
Hmm.
really grateful for that. But I would say that I was able to be around the right people. I was able to be around the right
Hmm.
group of people, being able to be around the right circle, people that are thinking differently, that are thinking outside of the issues that we already have in Haiti. Right. My first project
Hmm.
was a browser, and it was like one of my most amazing project I would say because that was my first, but that was a way for me to believe that we could build things, and that came from watching YouTube videos, staying up at night, waiting for
Right.
the electricity to come on, right? Or staying next to someone's house in order to find the internet for a longer period of time.
Hmm.
And these things only can come, and this product that I built a long time ago came from resilience in Haiti, right? And I think that really shaped me very early, being able to build with resilience, being able to build with the thinking that we should focus on the issues in our current situation, but we still should use that as an excuse to build things and to empower. And that really shaped the
Hmm.
way I see things and the way I built. Now in New York, I've been building things, many projects. Worked in many startups. I built and designed many AI infrastructure and AI systems. And I'm very happy that the things that I've learned from Haiti, which is resilient, which is the idea that the system that you have to put around you with the people, the learning and the strategies that you have to do, and the work as well too, and really you have to do the
Right.
work to get to where you're going to go.
Wow. That thing that you mentioned, that I think that is the mindset that creates diamonds in pressure. The openness to learn and the resilience that you display. I mean, that's inspiring, Sebastian. It shows me how personal history, culture, and determination fuel cutting edge innovation. And speaking of cutting edge, Sebastian, in today's AI's world, privacy is often seen as either a barrier or a bonus. So, I want to ask this before we even get to why one should focus on cutting edge, like edge AI, and not the traditional cloud infrastructure. I want to ask this on behalf of all the listeners, that what does this edge AI really mean, and how does it work? And well, why is it different from the traditional cloud base? But I guess we'll get there as soon as we describe what is edge AI, essentially. And once we understand that, I would love for you to explain why edge computing is indeed so critical in protecting user privacy these days, mainly.
Yeah, very great question, and I'm happy to start there. And
Hmm.
the idea for privacy really has to start from infrastructure. It has to start with the system and how we design those system and how we architect those operating system within those AI softwares, right? And we are more edge forward, we say, because we believe that instead of sending data to an intelligence that's cloud based, we believe that bringing that intelligence to the data is the
Right.
more intelligent way to go about it, right? And there are many reasons, and the main reason really is prompt injection. And prompt injection is one of the biggest issue that we're currently and we will be facing in the next couple of years in terms of AI implementation. What prompt injection is essentially, whenever we make a call for intelligence to a model that is cloud based, someone can try and see what are the token, what is the prompt within the tokens that being sent, right? And 4 to 8% of each prompt has sensitive data, sensitive user data, or at least has some PII, which is data that is able to connect to a user directly, right?
Right.
And
Right.
that is a lot when you do the math and connect to every second and every minute and every hour everyone is using any intelligence, right? So by bringing the intelligence to the data, and what that means, the edge, right? Edge really is product based. It's essentially
Hmm.
device based, right? And what we mean by
Right.
device, we do include laptops, telephones, and all these devices that are popular now, but we want to look bigger than that, right? So we want to look more into cameras, more into any single hardware that you have around you,
Hmm.
where which we
Hmm.
can add intelligence within, right? And integrate any intelligence. So AI lives around us, it lives with us. It becomes like
Hmm.
natural, but because is within each device, we don't have to send our data and
Hmm.
have to like become some kind of spy around us and sending our data in elsewhere. It lives within that device itself as a tool instead of as an entity, right? And that really
Right.
will become the change as well.
Wow. Wow. Okay, I didn't know this. Like, so what you said is essentially bring. Okay, so I'll take an example. For example, we are generating data at a local device, and instead of sending it to the cloud infrastructure, you're just processing the data then and there itself with the help of AI. Is that it?
Definitely. But there are many
Oh.
issues to that, right? I
Mm-hmm.
would say, okay, this is a perfect solution. Let's just do that. But it's one of the most difficult in terms of intelligence, right? And this is why it's not being utilized in the highest level. Although you can surely cut costs and you cut latency. So the AI responses, intelligence responses will be faster and will most likely be cost efficient because you're not paying per token. You're only paying to manage this intelligence wherever it
Right.
lives, right?
Mhm. Right.
The
Right.
issues are really is electricity, right? Is
Mm.
electricity, because intelligence and those models burn a lot of electricity, and the more token that's being thrown every hour and every second, and the more electricity it comes from, right? And one of the biggest thing is GPU, right? And which is the capacity of the devices that will be utilizing that model to process that model itself, right? And to process this intelligence for each device. And this is
Mm.
where the cost comes from as well. So because these
Okay.
that's NVIDIA chips that are very expensive, in order for us to integrate that within each device so it could run a very powerful model, right? So we have a model that's powerful, that's an entity.
Mm.
We need to have intelligence, which is this is in the intelligence, but we need to have the hardware needs to have some kind of processing system that can connect with that model, right? So we have intelligence and you have the
Right.
processing uh, entity, but also you have the architecture around it. So how do you put these two together and make them run? And how do you work and manage hallucinations, right? And each model has to be built perfectly for each device. And this takes time, money, and energy for anyone trying to implement it. And that is why it's not being implemented at the highest level at the moment.
Makes sense. That's fascinating, Sebastian. Knowing about the challenges that an engineer faces while setting the AI wherever it lives in the device. But okay, so efficiency is definitely one of the things that I believe it's going to get better in the future. Well, I would assume that. But my second concern here is see, having great technology is only part of the story, right? In startups, ideas are everywhere. But execution is what turns them into real world solutions. So I'm curious, with all that pressure to innovate, what strategies does help you turn, ideas, or I would say bold ideas, into actionable and scalable platforms?
So it comes with, I'm going to use that word again, it comes with resilience, right? And I would say going through the root of myself and the way I grew up and how I built
Mm.
my first software. And I think that's what allowed me to build this company that is able to build these edge AI systems and actually make them work. It's fully resilient. And I could tell you that there are many nights where they're essentially rough, and there are days where you really believe there's actually no solution for that. But with resilience, you allow yourself to and it's practice, right? The more you practice doing something difficult, and the more you become successful at it by allowing
Right.
yourself to be open for new things, to be open for testing, to be open for
Right.
implementations, to be open for communication as well with your team and finding solutions together, right? And that's what we do.
Mm.
We have now built and implemented the perfect models for each for specific devices in both for us to have our first products that is fully private, allowing the models to live in specific VPC, which is a virtual personal server, or on-prem for our enterprises clients, right? So right now we're able to offer our clients, now any enterprise willing to not leak any data for intelligence, right? So we build the intelligence with where they are, where the data is, where the data live, or on-prem, and we're allowing our systems, our private systems, to connect to their AI implementations, right? And really, that's our first step to building into this journey of fully and complete privacy-based AI implementation.
Wow, that's inspiring, Sebastian. You see, like, it does make technology feel deeply human again. And since you mentioned about privacy, um, so for all those who see AI, they see, or they might think that, okay, it's not transparent, it's not very ethical, like okay, one could argue on that maybe, but how do you ensure your system aligned with ethical considerations while still being commercially viable? And when I say viable, I mean like following the ethics.
We believe that our system is the ultimate system that follows not just ethics, but that follows the norm for complete privacy. Right. For example, let's talk about how it looks like in the real world, right? For
Hmm.
example, an entity wanting to utilize or any agentic models or any application that you see out there that will be giving some user output, they will take all the user data and they will put that as a package and they'll throw it inside of cloud AI models, right? And these cloud
Right.
models are a third party entity, which means there's another organization or company or enterprise that that manages model, and that model is being retrained on that data that's being shared on. Right? What does that mean for the
Right.
user, and what does that mean for regulations as well? So, for HIPAA, right? People are these companies are able to directly connect to the user, maybe able to understand the kind of disease that they have, which is where it's regulated, right? Which is where it
Mm.
becomes a real issue where an entity can directly connect an individual data because of the output from another company, right? And that's where the issue comes from, under privacy, but also understanding that 100% of people are doing that, it becomes a taboo, right? I think the worst of the world believe that, okay, because of intelligence, we're allowing ourselves to give our data away. And it had become, and mostly in the US, it had become some sort of acceptance, some sort of cause for intelligence. And really, we don't agree. We really want people to understand that they can have intelligence with complete privacy, right? And one
Right.
of our system, one of our product, which is the funnel that connects to any of our models, is truly works as an engine that detect every sensitive data of users, uh, sanitize it, obfuscates it, right? So it hides it from the model receives it, but the model doesn't know. There's some kind of dehumanization or the construction that disconnect the model to the user, but the response itself can be also regenerated as well. So there's also some rehydration happening before the user sees it. So for example, what that looks like in the real world, one of our product is a resume builder. So someone can go to that platform, so the Echo.io itself, that's also built around
Mhm.
InthraOS. Someone can go to that platform, that upload their resume, which of course their resume has an email, it has a phone
Right.
number. These are
Right.
PII sensitive data that you can connect to a user. Our system, which is the OSDK system, will already detect that data, tokenize that data, and sends that tokenized data with the rest of the resume to the model, right? So the intelligence sees the resume. It doesn't see the email or the phone number, it just sees a tokenized number. And once
Tokenized.
that model return that resume, which is enhanced resume, right? That's why we need the intelligence to have, to
Right.
get things for us. That it returns just with the tokenized resume, but our system also rehydrates that response. So when the user sees their resume back to in the UI under a screen, it has the real phone number and the real email. So the intelligence fully works 100% from A to Z without sharing those sensitive data to the model.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing, Sebastian.
Yeah.
That's like you telling me how the architecture works. I think a lot of listeners listening to this right now would be, thrilled by how this is at least the thought process is brought about. And that is critical. It speaks to me that responsible innovation isn't optional. It's essential for trust building and longevity. So and understanding that balance is exactly what aspiring entrepreneurs and engineers need as they navigate the challenges of AI. So for those listeners, what's one piece of advice, Sebastian, that you would like to give them um, succeed while cultivating both technical mastery and visionary thinking?
The best the best advice I would give to someone is to build with purpose and to build with passion. And trust me, once you build with purpose, passion will come naturally. And I say this from the bottom of my heart with all the things that I've built all in my life is that once you build with purpose, you won't have to sell a product to someone ever. You will just have to share
Mhm.
it from the bottom of your heart how that, you know,
Right.
system or the product feels for you. And people can connect a lot more to that than they can connect to someone trying to sell a specific
Right.
product. It becomes genuine, it becomes authentic, and that's how people connect to uh, innovation. People don't see innovation as a product; they see innovation as purpose driven. And if you really, really want to build innovative products, innovative software, I would recommend to build with purpose and to build with passion.
Wow, I love that purpose and passion. Yeah, truly, truly. Well, thank you, Sebastian, for sharing those insightful wisdom with our listeners and even me. But yeah, just before we wrap things up, I would definitely want to ask, what's the best way to reach out to you, for all the listeners listening out to this right now?
Definitely. And I would definitely recommend to go on to intraOS.com, intelligence through operating system. So hopefully we have the link down below. And once you go there, you will find videos of us, be our researchers talking about privacy. And we want to share privacy in the ultimate level. And you can also check me out on Instagram, Sebastien_Fenelon, Sebastian Builds on Twitter and Reddit.
Perfect. Dear listeners, I'll have all the details in the show notes for you so you can check them out anytime at your own convenience. And with that comes an end to today's discussion with Sebastien Fenelon, who reminds us that technology is as human as the people building it. Towards purpose and passion, yes, you got that right. So, for anyone listening, remember bold ideas are just the start. Real impact comes when those ideas respect people, solve real problems, and balance innovation with humanity, purpose. This is Sayan, and you have been listening to AIBiz. Stay curious, take smart risks, and let your work serve both progress and people.